Class 1A's eccentric homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa. He may keep out of the spotlight as a pro hero, but among My Hero Academia fans, his popularity is undeniable. Even if he's not your number one favorite, it's likely you're quite attached to him by now. And while fans in general talk about him very often, those who love him are incredibly enthusiastic about this man. So what is it about Aizawa that makes fans so fond of him? Today, we're going to take a deep dive into his character to figure out why he's so popular. When we are first introduced to Aizawa, he actually comes off as a bit of a jerk. Although it's great that he wants to test the students for the first time using their quirks, he ends up telling Deku that he'll never be a pro hero. With that, as well as the fact that All Might says they don't really see eye to eye, it seems like Aizawa is positioned as a bit of an agitizing force at this point. Why did this guy even want to be a teacher in the first place if he's just going to be rude and threaten to expel students on the first day? He doesn't stay quite this harsh for very long though, and the more we learn about his character, the better we understand his point of view. He just has high standards for the kids so that they can reach their full potential and lead the next generation of heroes. As Aizawa softens up around the students, we warm up to him too, and we learn to respect his strength and expertise just as the students do. With that expertise, Aizawa takes on the role of a snarky mentor, a trope that's fairly popular in anime. Certain aspects of his personality in this role remind me of Kakashi from Naruto and Genkai from Yu Yu Hakusho, particularly how strict he is, and how he throws the students in at the deep end to push them to be stronger. This type of character is generally liked by anime fans, because they're seen as cool and it's a familiar archetype for someone to fill. In Aizawa's case, he's also kind of tsundere. He hides how much he cares about his students behind sarcasm and dry humor, so when that soft side shows through, it's very endearing. It's his tsundere personality, alongside his fighting proficiency and game-breaking quirk, that make for a strong character who comes across as an actual human rather than an overpowered hero. His costume gives us even more of an idea of his personality, a good example of the strong storytelling in MHA. While all hero costumes are meant to be designed for utility, they're also usually pretty flashy and visually appealing. Aizawa only wears dark, baggy clothing that seems more like it's designed for comfort. His duty is his job and being able to perform his duties as a hero. Those two things are more important to him than being liked or being famous. He even shies away from the media, preferring to be an underground hero. Fans find this appealing because it's refreshing in a world of celebrity comic book heroes to have a character that doesn't care about fame and doesn't pander to other people. Aizawa's recognizably human personality means that he's also kind of relatable, especially to adult My Hero Academia fans. The fact that he's always tired, speaks mostly in sarcasm, and is generally irritable are things I think a lot of young adults in particular can understand. To me, he gives off the aura of being like a tired older sibling. He cares a great deal about the young people in his care, but he's too worn out by life to be too nice to them. His stoic demeanor contrasts with his quirky personality, which lends to the comical nature of the less serious moments in the series. Having your teacher turn up to your class in a sleeping bag, only to tell you off for not being rational, is such a juxtaposition we can't help but find it amusing. We also get to see this scruffy teacher cleaned up a couple times during the series, wearing a suit and having his hair tied back. It definitely reminds me of seeing someone you know as a t-shirt and jeans type all suited up at a wedding. Aizawa's personality is all the more pronounced when we see him with his friend Present Mike. While Aizawa is quiet and irritable, Present Mike is bright and loud. Where Aizawa is scruffy, dark-haired, and casual, Present Mike is always well-presented in bright and flashy clothes with his blonde hair perfectly styled. They seem like total opposites, making their friendship all the more interesting. Through a quick flashback, we see that they were classmates in high school, so they must like each other in spite of their differences in order to have stayed friends for so long. Present Mike even came up with the hero name Eraserhead, which obviously Aizawa still uses. It's through this relationship that Aizawa is given a sense of history and life outside of his current mentor role, which helps to give him depth as a character. His relationship with our protagonist Deku is another very interesting way that we learn more about Aizawa. Up until this point, Deku has been treated as a special student by his own idol, All Might. When he meets Aizawa, we as an audience are shocked along with him to find out that Aizawa thinks his potential is so low. Aizawa is being his blunt self. From his perspective, he sees a kid who seriously injures himself after one attack, becoming a liability for other heroes to deal with. In terms of character, this shows how seriously Aizawa takes his job, and how much he respects the pro hero profession. From a storytelling perspective, his treatment of Deku opposes the favoritism he receives from All Might. So we're given variety in the story, and Deku avoids the fate of being loved by everyone right away, something that probably would have made him a bit annoying as a character. Although Aizawa does soften towards Deku after a while, acknowledging that he does have great potential, he doesn't stop being strict. Crucially, he stays in his role as a teacher and authority figure in Deku's life. Again, this puts him in contrast with All Might, who is frequently more like a mythical figure, or sometimes even a friend to Deku. Now that I've mentioned All Might a few times, I want to take a more detailed look at his relationship with Aizawa. At the start of the series, they don't really like each other at all. Because All Might represents hope, he can't agree with Aizawa's methods of expelling students who don't meet his expectations. And we're given the impression that Aizawa thinks All Might is giving Deku special treatment that he doesn't deserve. They reach a position of mutual respect later in the series, but I think the way they're set up to contrast each other is really interesting. A common comparison that's made between the two of them is that Aizawa is like Batman to All Might being Superman. As My Hero Academia is a show that explores American-style comic book themes, I think this is fitting. All Might is a public-facing image of hope and strength, whereas Aizawa prefers to work in the shadows away from the public eye. All Might's quirk is based purely on superhuman physical strength, but Aizawa has to rely on intelligence and martial arts to make the best of his abilities. It's All Might's job to give people hope and encourage their dreams as the #1 hero, but it's Aizawa's job to crush dreams by kicking out students who don't do well enough at UA. So, while All Might is a straightforward, likable character, his opposite, Aizawa, is almost built up to be like an anti-hero. And anti-heroes are a popular type of character, so it makes sense that so many people would become attached to Aizawa for that reason. I couldn't make a video about Aizawa's popularity without mentioning Dad Zawa, his affectionate nickname given to him by fans. The idea is that he's become a father figure in the show, though his softness is maybe a bit exaggerated. He is protective and caring towards his students in a way that's quite realistic for a teacher. However, he has mellowed out towards the students with time. He's still quite harsh, but he's not overbearing, so he has somewhat of a parental vibe. In particular, he sticks up for Bakugo after he's criticized during the press conference in Season 3. He shows concern for Todoroki when Endeavor is getting beaten in the last part of Season 4. And he's contributing to looking after Eri, because his quirk can stop her from losing control. Although he does entrust most of her care to Mirio, he shows concern for Eri being able to grow up knowing how to deal with her quirk. On top of all of that, he often encourages the students to think for themselves, but to think carefully, and plays a huge role in how they grow as heroes and as people. Dad Zawa is perhaps fans amplifying these caring and nurturing qualities beyond the level he actually shows, but they are still qualities that Aizawa possesses, which make him all the more likable. Well, I think I understand now why Aizawa has captured the imaginations of so many My Hero Academia fans, despite his initially abrasive personality. In reality, he's a softie who cares about his students, and wants them to be prepared for everything the harsh world is going to throw at them. With Season 5 getting closer by the day, I'm looking forward to seeing how he will continue to push 1A in the future. Let me know in the comments below why you love Aizawa or why you don't. And as always, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with some more anime content and more My Hero Academia content.